but we're going to get started. So I'm Brett Marengoff, Senior Vice President of Wind Development. I'd like to start by saying thank you to all those who worked tirelessly with us over the past couple of years to bring us to this point. It's a very exciting time. This includes Ms. Matthews and Mr. Langley and your fellow members of the Board of Atlantic Terrace and Atlantic Gardens Tenant Associations, all of our ANC commissioners, especially Commissioners Jordan and Henderson, who represent these great properties, UPO and Citygate, our nonprofit service provider partners who are going to be enhancing the services here, our financial partners, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the D.C. Department of Housing and Community Development, the D.C. Housing Finance Agency, City Community Capital, Boston Financial Investment Management, and D.C. Sustainable Energy Utility. Also, I would like to thank our general contractor, Keith Construction, and their owners who are here today, John Keith and Shelley Hoon Keith, our architecture firm, the architectural team, and Gilbert Wynn and the management team here at the sites. Thank you all very much. I would also like to share that Council Member LaRuby May sends regrets that she couldn't be here today as she had to attend a funeral. There's one more extra special person in the audience today who I'd like to recognize, and that's Ms. Dorothy Ramsey. Ms. Ramsey made a special trip to be here because about 30 years ago, she was a tenant leader at these properties when Wynn was first redeveloping them. So Ms. Ramsey, thank you very much for taking the time and energy over the years here at these properties and also to be here today. Additionally, as you all know, it takes a village to do what we do. It takes a long time, it takes a lot of work. But we really couldn't do it without the residents of these properties. When we started this process, we started by sitting down with the residents, sitting at a table and talking through what the vision here should be. We want this property to thrive in the future as it's thrived for the last 30 years. While Wynn has owned it. The result now is a $69 million rehabilitation program that is going to preserve 303 affordable housing units in Ward 8 for the next 4 decades. We are not only going to modernize the physical plant of the buildings and the property, but we're going to add recreational facilities. You see one of our new recreational areas being under construction right now. We're going to expand the services, as I mentioned earlier, through UPO and Citygate. That includes job placement programs, early childhood education, and other learning center opportunities. We're also going to build out new amenity and community spaces for the residents, including community rooms, playgrounds, and barbecue and picnic areas. Additionally, we're bringing a new security system and program that's going to be state-of-the-art and help provide for safety and security of all of our residents. We all need a roof over our head and a place that we call home. And Wynn is excited to renew our commitment to DC, Ward 8, and these communities. None of this would have been possible without all of you, our financial partners, and our community partners. So work is underway. It will be going on for the next 2 years, expecting to complete in September of 2017. And we're excited, we will be excited to have everyone back again for a ribbon cutting at that time. So without further ado, I know all of you are excited to hear from our esteemed speakers, and we couldn't be more excited to have all of them here today. So we're going to begin with the Deputy Chief of Staff for Councilmember LaRuby May, Arthur Brown.
Good morning. As he stated, my name is Art Brown. I am Deputy Chief of Staff for Councilmember LaRuby May. I apologize on her behalf for not being here this morning due to a funeral that she had to attend. But she did ask me to give her kind regards. She is proud of the team effort that has produced a $69 million rehabilitation of Atlantic Gardens and Atlantic Terrace properties. The result of a successful public-private partnership will bring much-needed services to Ward 8 residents. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, Wynn Companies, Citygate, and United Planner Organization for your commitment to preserving affordable housing and creating job opportunities for Ward 8 residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Our next speaker is Polly Donaldson, the Executive Director of the Department of Housing and Community Development. Ms. Donaldson is beginning her 12th month as a Director of DHCD, and she oversees 180 employees in 14 program areas, as well as the Office of the General Counsel, the Administrative Office, and the Office of Communications and Community Outreach. She also manages an operating budget of $250 million to preserve and create rental and home ownership opportunities for residents of the district, and she leads the charge in revitalizing neighborhoods. She may be new to the role of DHCD Director, but Ms. Donaldson is no stranger to the world of affordable housing with 27 years of experience. I'm happy to welcome a passionate advocate of a project like this, Ms. Donaldson.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning. Oh, good sun. I like sun. Thank you, Brett, very much. Really appreciate it. This is just a terrifically exciting day for primarily, I think, first, the residents of these apartments. Wynn Companies has made the commitment to them for the renovation of Atlantic Garden and Atlantic Terrace that will bring them in to absolute up-to-date with current code in the district, but also will modernize them and make them truly nice places to reside. And that all is just absolutely exemplary. And we are proud of the Wynn Companies for how they have partnered with the residents. The district must preserve its existing affordable housing, and these renovations are a great example of how we can do that. Over the next 5 years, a significant number of affordable housing units across the city will be at risk because of expiring affordability covenants, tax credits, and the like. So in addition to my job as Director of DHCD, I'm also chairing the Mayor's Strike Force for Affordable Housing Preservation, looking at how we can protect apartments like these, apartment and developments like these. And so we will make it the district remaining a welcoming place for all families, and to ensure that we can keep units like these absolutely not only functional, but as thriving communities across our city. We're going to help preserve more than 300 units of affordable housing here. I like that for the next 40 years. I can do the math, folks. That's a long time. But also, wiring is going to be replaced, plumbing, HVAC, new kitchens, new baths, energy efficient, and following green community standards, which is really, again, a wonderful part of the development here for the residents. Of course, as you've heard, there'll be other facilities here, early learning centers, playgrounds, and overall external property improvements, which really help with the environment and the community that's being sustained here. Most impressive, no current residents will be displaced during the course of the renovation. It's an in-place renovation, creatively done, and I know with lots of experience Wynn Companies knows how to do this. The city's contribution was specifically from the Housing Production Trust Fund. As you know, Mayor Bowser, and she will speak to this, has made a commitment of $100 million a year to the Housing Production Trust Fund. This project has $10.6 million from the trust fund in it. That commitment is what is being, I think, understood in the financial community as not only a real commitment, but also a sustainable one that allows other private capital to come in. So obviously, Wynn Companies deserves credit, City Community Capital, Boston Financial, and of course the DC Sustainable Energy Utility. You'll hear from my colleague, Maria Day Marshall, any moment, This is a great day for a groundbreaking, and we look forward to the ribbon cutting and other developments in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Donaldson. It's now my pleasure to introduce Maria Day Marshall, Interim Executive Director of the DC Housing Finance Agency. Ms. Day Marshall joined DCHFA in November of 2009 as General Counsel and has more than 25 years of experience in the municipal finance industry. She was previously Senior Business Development Manager for Fannie Mae's Community Lending Channel. Prior to joining Fannie Mae, Ms. Day Marshall was Senior Vice President for Columbia Equity Financial Corp., a firm that provided financial advisory services to public entities, including housing agencies and public housing authorities. She also served in the district government from 1982 to 1996 as treasurer, deputy treasurer, and debt manager, in addition to several other roles. We're pleased to say that this project represents another partnership between WIN and DCHFA, please join me in welcoming Director Day Marshall.
Thank you, Brett. Good morning. What a beautiful day this is. And I think it was planned this way, so you picked a great day to have this. As we all know, there's a renaissance going on of sorts in Ward 8. There's so much economic development activity going on. But Ward 8 has always been a hub for affordable housing in the district. And we want to keep it that way, especially during these unprecedented times of economic growth in our city. In the last couple of months, I am proud to have participated and been joined by the mayor and council member May for 2 and Director Donaldson for 3 groundbreakings for new projects that will provide quality, safe, and decent affordable housing for the residents of Ward 8, including Archer Park, Highland Terrace, and now Atlantic Terrace and Atlantic Gardens. These 3 projects represent the construction and preservation of over 600 much-needed affordable housing in Washington Highlands and Congress Heights neighborhoods. Additionally, Highland Dwellings is under construction not too far from here, and Trinity Plaza, also not far from here, was completed this year, bringing another 250 affordable units to Ward 8. But Atlantic Terrace and Atlantic Gardens alone represent 303 renovated units. And Polly and Brett have already talked about the many amenities that this financing will bring to the residents of Atlantic Terrace and Atlantic Gardens. A total of $70 million will be infused into making both developments a beautiful place in which to live and to be proud. I want to congratulate the tenants associations for taking the initiative to partner with the wind companies to make this dream a reality for the residents of Atlantic Terrace and Atlantic Gardens, and wind companies, Gil and Arthur, for wanting to improve the quality of life for its residents. I also want to thank Elizabeth Aaliyah for guiding the residents through the TOPA process, which we all know can be very daunting. Now, $70 million is a lot of money to raise, and it takes a lot of different sources of revenue to make that happen. We at DCHFA are proud to have issued $30 million in tax-exempt obligations that were purchased by City Community Capital, and I see Brian Dixon out there, who also contributed another $4.5 million through its Affordable Housing Catalyst program. And we also underwrote $21 million in low-income housing tax credit in which Boston Financial invested. And I think Rob Charest is here. Rob, you're around now? Hey, Rob. Of course, our sister agency, DHCD, contributed almost $11 million in Housing Production Trust Fund money, a critical source of gap financing for the project. And finally, HUD continued its investment of $14 million and extended its housing assistance payment contract for 20 years. The financing of this project is a true example of public-private partnership, and I want to congratulate everyone involved in it. Last but not least, I want to thank the dedicated staff at DCHFA, including Tony Waddell. I think you're out there, Tony. Hey, Tony. Michael Winter, Tracy Parker, and Daniel Nunez for their undying commitment to this project financing, which was the first executed by the agency in fiscal year 2016. I look forward to the ribbon cutting, and I know that that will be a great day as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Director DeMarshall. I'd now like to introduce the chairman of Wind Companies, Michael Putziger. Michael worked on Wind's very first development project about 44 years ago, and today is the chairman and still leading the company. In the 1980s, Michael, along with Arthur Wynn and Jack Kerry, first started on these development projects and creating the affordable housing that is here today, and it has allowed us to do what we are doing right now and getting started through this groundbreaking. So without further ado, Michael Putziger.
It's warmer out here than it is under the tent, but I won't absorb too much of the warmth. I'm really just here today to say thank you to everyone, that we at the Wind Companies need all of the partners that have come here today to do what we do. And when we gather those partners together, we take those resources and we do the very best job that can be done. The theme of preservation is really key, because the preservation of these properties as great places to live are really as a result of the leadership of Arthur Wynn, the founder of the Wind Companies. Arthur came here and had a vision more than 30 years ago, stuck with his commitment, kept these properties viable, habitable, and in as good repair and maintenance as possible, and many times devoted the resources of our company to their preservation when there were no resources available. And here we are today with a sound partnership with the residents, with the availability of adequate resources to bring these older buildings to this era and continue these wonderful homes for the people that need them and deserve them. But Arthur, it is such a pleasure to introduce you to this assemblage, and we look forward to your words and reflections after all those years here. Come on up, Arthur.
I was just chatting with Lonnie and JR before this event, and Lonnie mentioned Wes Unseld, who threw one of the great outlet passes in the NBA history. And to a certain extent, while we can build a development like this and probably know enough to team up with the right daycare center people, and I guess UPO and the Citygate learning centers, if you're right about this, Brett, are the best in Washington, D.C. So, and we are now, we're throwing a bit of an outlet pass because it's all about the residents. And we can do our job of aggregating capital, developing, and we probably do as much of this as anyone in the country, possibly the world. And but at the end of the day, it's the the residents that are our team. And will only be as good as our residents and those that support them with the money that has been described, has been advanced to us. The learning centers, the daycare centers, and the commitment of the residents to the best place they will ever live. Their protection of it, their ownership of it. It's really all about that. We're no better than our residents. I want to just make a couple of other quick comments. It's about 34, 35 years ago that I first saw the site. Jack brought me over, and it had been 30 years prior to that, Jack, if I'm not incorrect, that the development had stopped. So we've signed up, we've gone through these 30 years, we've had our ups and downs. There were times, and Michael mentioned them, that we found ourselves pretty much the source of the necessary capital to keep it going. In fact, if I remember correctly, Jack, it was your harassment of the district that kept the heat going in these buildings for the year prior to us taking over. And also, as I recall, there was probably a water main break, and you decided that Perrier had not, this was not the neighborhood that Perrier sold most of their water, and we somehow got them on the phone and brought water to the opening of Atlantic Gardens and Atlantic Terrace 30 years ago. So here we are, 30 years, no development. 30 years ago, this development. Signed up again for another 30 years. We're going to keep doing it till we get it right, apparently. What I see here is the team that will get it right, and I do want to acknowledge once more, ultimately, our team is our residents, and we look forward to working with the residents over the next 30 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arthur. Well, that concludes the program for this morning. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us and being here to celebrate a great occasion and kick off these wonderful projects. We're going to do pictures and over near the shovel and the dirt, if our speakers can join me over there. And thank you very much.
Ready? Feel free.